It is common for schools to have students with different types of disorders, such as learning disorder or a behavioral disorder. But there are different methods that can be used to help students cope with these disorders, such as tutors to help them succeed academically, counselors to help them talk to somebody when they have things going on at home, and even teacher aides to sit in the classroom with them to keep them from distracting other students. However, not all schools have the proper ways to handle students with disorders. For instance, some have not enough funding, or they have a lack of experience, or they're just uneducated on the subject and don't know what to do. There's also the education theory, which is used to help solve problems with students with disorders. And it doesn't always work, and there are limitations, because what might help one student isn't necessarily going to help another student. So I decided to analyze the case study about behavioral disorder. Renee Campoy discussed in her September 2004 book, Case Study Analysis in the Classroom, Becoming a Reflective Teacher, a story about a little boy with a behavior disorder. That little boy's name is William Billy Stark, and he is in 7th grade. He is tall, thin, and he appears to be dirty. He is known to be a smoker and also use drugs, and his behavioral issues are known all throughout the school district. He is known for yelling in classrooms, hitting other students, and also being violent. And he was also expelled from his previous school, and he is about to enroll into a new school called the Southview Middle School. Before enrolling into the Southview Middle School, the principal, Mr. Soustis, wanted to hold a meeting amongst the teachers to come up with a plan to help minimize Billy's behaviors and to try to help him adjust better into a new school setting. The plan consisted of 3 parts. 1, they wanted to find a teacher who would best meet the needs of Billy. 2, they wanted to have Billy in a special education classroom for majority of the day, and they also wanted to hold a meeting with Billy's father. For the first step, they wanted to make sure that they had a teacher who was able to understand Billy. The teacher they picked is Mr. Bantu, who is a new teacher, and he has a good rep with the students because a lot of students like him. Billy would only spend a few hours in this classroom of the day so that he can interact with his peers and hopefully form some type of natural friendship or relationship with another student. The second step involved Billy spending majority of his day inside a classroom with a special education teacher. She was there to help him manage his behavioral disorder, but she found that he had a lack of confidence, which was preventing him from succeeding. She tried to use methods such as rewarding his good behaviors or even finding things that would interest him, but it just didn't work. She believed that there was an outside source that was affecting his ability to learn, such as an undiagnosed learning disability or a neurological problem that is being masked with the problems that he faces at home. The meeting with Billy's father, Mr. Stark, was so that everybody could be on the same page, and they wanted to make sure that they had the support from Billy's family. From this meeting, they learned that Billy's mother left their family unexpectedly, and this left Billy very angry and upset. His father also had a drinking problem, but he is now he is sober and is ready to help Billy in any way that he can. But unfortunately, Billy did not spend much time at this school. His father removed him after a few weeks and brought him to another state so they could be closer to family. Although Billy wasn't there long enough for the plan to be implemented, it also had its flaws that could have been worked out. For example, Mr. Banna was a new teacher. That means that he was unexperienced and didn't know how to deal with the situations that Billy brought into the classroom. For example, Billy would act out, have fits in the classroom, scream and yell, and Mr. Bantu never dealt with this, so he didn't really know what to do. Also, Billy wasn't there long enough in his classroom to form a relationship with another student. And if he was, then maybe this would improve his behavior because he had somebody that he trusted and could talk to. The school could have reached out to a community service to have Mr. Bantu take a course just to educate him on how to deal with students with behavior disorders. Additionally, the special ed teacher didn't have enough time to implement any of her behavioral techniques. Billy thought that the rewards were just a joke, and also he found the things interesting just for a little bit, like the topics that he liked, but he lost interest very quickly. And her findings of him being basically not confident within his abilities matches up with the Maslow's hierarchy, which is basically saying that a student who is not confident is just not going to succeed. He's going to continue to fail just because he has no confidence in his ability to achieve things or goals. So, also, they could have reached out to community services to better help Billy. For example, Billy is known to have an issue with drugs, so they could have reached out to a substance abuse expert and they could help him get sober so that his mind is a little clearer and he can make better choices. Additionally, Billy is known to have anger issues where he will act out in class, screaming and yelling and even hitting his peers. If they got him into anger classes, they would help teach him how to control his temper, and therefore his behaviors wouldn't be as often. Also, his dad could have used the community services by enrolling in family counseling or even in a peer support group, just to know that he is not alone in this and that other people may also be going through the same things as him and his family. So from this, you could take that schools are not always prepared or equipped enough to deal with students and their disorders. But if they are going to have a student with a disorder, it is their job to reach out to as many sources as they can to help the student. For example, their own teachers, their aides, their counselors, in their own school, and also into the community, just so that everybody can work together towards a common goal and help Billy do better.